Hey everybody, it's Shane. Everyday Shane. I don't know about you, but I've been getting seeing a lot of ads from a lot of people about Vevor. Vevor lawn sweepers, plate compactors, meat slicers, you name it. I've probably seen an ad for it. And I'm always left questioning, is this any good? Well, today we're going to put that to the test. I got some Vevor raised garden beds. In this economy, I figured two things is going to work out, hopefully. One, they're affordable. And two, it'll grow food, which reduces my grocery bill. And that's going to help out a lot. So, what we're going to do is we're going to unbox and we're going to get into it. Now, before we do that, I did look it up on the old Google machine and I said, hey, what tools do I need to be able to be successful at this? The old Google machine says Phillips screwdriver or a drill or an impact if you got those. If not, a screwdriver and a 10 millimeter socket. Apparently, they're going to include some tools to be able to put this together. But I think we can all agree that when you buy something like this, the tools that come with it are not the greatest. So let's dig in. We're going to start with unboxing. I do have some real meat and potatoes of it, which is these end pieces. So we have two of them. They're not badly sized. Look like maybe a 20 gauge. They're definitely a thinner steel than the corner pieces. Just slightly. I'd say about maybe 1 or 2 gauges. I'd say this is probably a 20 gauge. There is a fair amount of flex. If you can see that, it does flex pretty easily. So these are the short pieces that I assume go on the end. I say assume because I did not read those instructions. And then we have the long pieces that go in the middle. Same construction as the end. A little bit thinner middle than the corner brackets. Looks like there's some kind of a plasticized coating on it. So that's interesting. The top and the bottom of this long panel are both rolled over. It looks like it's a pinch roll, which is good. That'll prevent you from being able to cut yourself on that. There is a little bit of a sharpness from like the shearing machine when they cut this. Oh yeah, that's sharp. There is some sharpness on the edges. I get why they sent gloves. I would have much rather seen them roll these edges over as well, just make it all a little bit safer. But the instructions here state that you take panel 1, which is this one. You add a corner bracket to it. There's some retaining rods that go across the middle that will connect on one side. And then you just connect the corner brackets on the other side. So it's pretty simple. The instructions aren't bad. I wish they were a little more explanatory in exactly what pieces are called. Feels a little ridiculous to sit here and say this corner bracket that mates to this end piece. Another thing that they could have explained, which I feel they kind of missed the mark on that, is that you're going to want to take and make this ledge here on this corner bracket made up against this on the inside. If you try to do it on the outside, you're going to deform this panel. Not everybody has a ton of experience putting together IKEA furniture and other things like that. So I wish they would have called that out a little bit better. I could see somebody making mistakes, getting frustrated with it for that reason. So I'm going to break out my little bag of screws here. nuts and bolts. I do like that it's a pretty simple solution. They didn't include a Phillips head. That's a roll or a pinch, and that can help prevent you from cutting yourself up. Like a lot of things, getting that first screw in there can help be able to set everything else up. And we're gonna not exactly tighten it down. We're gonna get it somewhat tight. To get it to hold in. And then we got a couple more bolts that we're gonna grab and feed through. So as I stated earlier, some of these are not precisely drilled. It's a little more of close enough, but it does take a little bit of finagling on some of these to get them to seat the bolt through the hole. Hoping that starting at that bottom one and putting a nut on that will make that slightly easier. These seem to be stainless steel bolts, which is quite good. These are going to come in contact with the ground. Ground and metal, not really best friends due to water, rust, and especially out here in Kansas. We pass a lot of vehicles all the time that are just rusted out. Trucks that are fairly new, 5, maybe 10 years old, just rusted, sad looking, tired. All right, so to be honest, I don't know how it's going to perform quite yet because we still have to fill it. We're going to use a method to fill this. I'm going to slaughter the pronunciation of this, but it's what I like to call it because I think it's hilarious. The huggle culture method. So we get to apparently hug some stuff. And basically what that means is we're going to fill it with some sticks, and we're going to fill it with some peat moss, some topsoil, some compost, and some good old regular dirt. I don't know why they call it the huggle culture, but I'm here for it. I got one more to go on this corner. This is about 1.5 feet tall. These do come in different sizes. This one's supposed to be about 7 foot by 3 foot by 1.5 feet. start prioritizing our backyard, our house, start doing the things that we want to do to it instead of things that we have to do to it. Oof. So a lot of that has been working with AI, and I know that AI is somewhat a scary thing. Trust me, I get it. That's part of my job, is working with AI models and finding ways to automate and reduce the time that it takes to accomplish certain tasks. And I can see how people would be worried about for this is fill it with sticks, fill it with some peat moss, fill it with some dirt, some compost, and some potting soil. Now, the negative of that is as those sticks break down, it's going to rob some nitrogen from your soil. I don't know if it's true. It's what the old Google machine says. So I'm going to look into it. I looked into it. It says, yeah, it will. But that's cool. We can add coffee grounds because we drink coffee every day. We can add coffee grounds into our garden and give back some of that nitrogen. A little get some, give some. Makes it easier, makes it less filling of dirt. Now, another part that's kind of a negative is as that breaks down every single year, it is going to sink the bed, which luckily, again, for us, we do live close to a landfill that does composting, and that compost is free for us. I don't know if it is for you. I highly recommend go have a conversation with the powers that be at your local landfill and see if they have anything like that, because I think
I might follow that and then slow it down for that specific shit right there.
Yep. You getting pictures or video on yours?
Oh. I figure I might be able to use some of it for some kind of voiceover.
Yeah.
Shorts or something.
Shit.
What's wrong? You did the wrong side.
Yeah. Funny. Even when you think you know what you're doing, you can still mess up.
Pepper, trying to tell you.
That's why it's important sometimes to stop and pay attention.
Looks like a bad sunburn.
Well, if we're going to take it off there, we're going to have to take it off every piece.
I don't think about every place.
See what you done started?
It's so sticky. Last one.
Last one for this side.
So are there straight brackets that connect? Or you just screw them into each other?
What do you mean?
Over here.
There is kind of brackets that go together.
Let's lay one out this way, that way, and the other one this way. Those are like
flimsy. All right, so as you can see, we got both halves done. Now it's time to make these, and this is where the instructions get a little crappy. It says leave the screws on the drawer board and foot guard covers uninstalled initially. Fit them during installation of the cover parts. Got that? Whatever. I think maybe. I don't know what that means. And for this, we need 3 of these. And not particularly an extraordinarily smart guy, but this doesn't stretch all the way through. So I think, nope, a Phillips head cut into the end of it. How ingenuitive. The things they do with tools nowadays. Give you what's quite possibly the worst little tool, but it's kind of a smart, worthless little tool. I would definitely recommend, if you have them, use a screwdriver, a drill. Use real ones, not the ones they send you. I have a 10mm wrench that I'm going to use that I think is going to do me a lot better than the little flimsy wrench that came with it. Like I said earlier, I'm not sponsored or paid for by Vevor. I didn't get these for free. This is my own money that went into this. Part of what drove me into this is, I see now. It's tightening turnbuckle style. So you that's going to make life interesting here in about a few minutes. Oh, it already makes life interesting. Okay, great. So new plan. New plan for this is we're going to thread these onto the end of it. On the end of these bracing rods. Because these are very much turnbuckle style. And we're going to attach those as we kind of go. Because I have the feeling that doing it the other way would not be smart. Also, the threads on the end of this are a little wonky. Just in case anybody's wondering, yes, that's a very technical term. Wonky. So, I can grab the rest of these. In the pictures, for installation, they make it look so straight. Let me tell you, based on real life work right here, I don't think that's... The bolts go in.
So tell me a little bit more about the fire pit that Gemini designed for you.
Well, as we discussed earlier, utilizing AI to help design out the backyard for exactly what we want has helped a lot. It provided how many stones we needed. I said, hey, I like these here decorative stones from Home Depot. Not sponsored or anything. Bought all that with my own money too. Sent it pictures of what the dimensions were. Said, hey, I want this big of a fire pit. I like this fire ring. Also bought from Home Depot. And it said, hey, here's all the mat that you need. Here's how you need to lay out your base layer and everything else for success with that. And so I listened. Then I thought I was smarter than AI. And I didn't listen. And I kind of winged it because that's what I've always done my whole life. And turned out that I didn't buy enough material the first time around because I said, we don't need all that. That's way too much. Well, we needed all that. I was trying to be cheap and save myself some money and kind of backfired. But it laid out all the dimensions, how to level it, everything like that. And the results of it were quite stunning. Now, I'm not going to lie. Not all of it was AI's idea. Mrs. Everyday had her little flair of input there. And it came out really, really nice. But
So, out of 10, how do you recommend using AI to plan out your projects?
out of 10, what?
Out of 10, how do you recommend using AI to plan out your projects?
Oh, 10 out of 10, let me tell you. Is it going to spit out some incorrect information? Yes. Double check everything that it tells you. 100%. But is it pretty also spot on? Oddly enough. Also, yes. I hope, but it is what it is that when I go to fill this, there will be a little bit of stretch and it will help fill that in and make it look better. Another thing that is annoyingly appreciated is all of this plastic on it. If you're into peeling sunburns, this is a grade A project for you. If you're not into peeling sunburns, this is not a grade A project. It is very sticky, very stubborn to get off. So as far as quality, keep in mind, I'm going to have more videos coming up. One, doing the ground prep, which AI helped for. Said, hey, this is how you need to be successful for a raised garden bed. My idea was throw it on the ground, and that was that. AI said, nah, no. Let's put it on the ground. Let's figure out what your dimensions are. We're gonna excavate just a little bit, about an inch. We're gonna get that level. On top of that, we're gonna put some hardware cloth. Apparently, chicken wire, animals can still get through. I don't know why they still sell it if it's so weak. But we got hardware cloth. It's thicker and stronger, and it's more pest resistant. On top of that, we're gonna put weed barrier. And then we put some landscaping staples in. AI says, don't put them in straight because it'll just pull it out of the ground like a sore tooth once the wind comes in real strong. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to put them in an angle. So we'll cover all of that in the next video. For right now, based on what I've seen, what I've experienced in building this one, and I have 2 more to go, I would say thickness is pretty decent. It's not as thick as I hoped for, not as strong as I wanted. Measurements are a little wonky. I think the hardware, the stainless steel hardware, I think that's probably pretty good. I'm pretty excited about that. I would give this an 8 out of 10 for now. Once I get more of them built and get them in the ground and get them filled up and they're actually producing, then we will discover, is it really worth it? Pretty easy to put it together. The instructions, Vevor, the instructions need help. Your process documentation needs help.
So one last question for you. You said you've seen lots of Vevor ads, and so you decided to check them out. What ultimately made your mind up about choosing these beds?
Well, I wanted to get our own food growing, not because I find joy in gardening, but because food just keeps getting more and more expensive. Inflation, corporate greed to an extent. They boast about mass profits, but they still increase the prices. So I figure the best way to do that is take home as much as you can. For me, that means growing my own food as much as I can. And so I started looking around. I found some other ones that I felt could have been really good, but they were really expensive, like $200-$300 for one single raised bed. I got all three of these for a really good price. That's what drew me into it. And also Vevor's honestly pretty good advertising around everything.
Did you look at reviews for the bed? How were those?
I did, actually. One of the biggest things that Amazon has taught me the hard way is that you should always look at the reviews, because I bought quite a few things off of Amazon and then been very unhappy with them, wondered why. I went back to read the reviews and everybody else was unhappy with it too. And I was like, if I would have just read those reviews, I could have been happily unhappy about it, because I would have bought it knowing it was going to be a dud. The reviews on this are honestly really, really good. The people that have reviewed it, I don't know if it's just their initial thought or they opened the box and looked at it and said, good enough. But the reviews are really good. I will give them that.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing y'all in our next step.